everyone. This is Basma Izzat and the second episode from Unknown History program, our new program in TV channel, our natural TV channel. Last week we have a lot of interesting questions and a lot of interesting topics we talked about with Mr. Ayhan Ozdinpit, our guest. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for a kind invitation.
Thank you for being with us today. Today, what we have to talk about, I think we end in Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Yeah.
Why he is a real prophet, and can we talk more about his life and his personal characteristics?
Of course, we must question also why he was stoned in Taif. He was not accepted in Mecca, but Medina said, "Welcome, please, come to us." They invited Prophet Muhammad to Medina. What is the difference, the Medina than Mecca and Taif? So when we to define the situation, we have to know the social life in these three cities. Taif is a city was very conservative about idols. Yeah. And they liked their idol very much. One of the biggest idols of Arabs those days was in Taif. And they like it very much, that idol, and they were very proud of having that idol in their city. And religiously, they refused Prophet Muhammad, and when Muhammad came their city, they stoned him. Why they stoned Prophet Muhammad? Because those days, any liar was being stoned, saying that he is a liar and he has no moral values, because Arabs also had moral values those days, very trustable in some ways.
First of all, he wanted to separate his message in Mecca.
Yeah.
Then why he thought about the
Taif?
Why he
because
first
he
about
was he was not accepted in Taif in Mecca, and he was looking for new opportunities around of the city Mecca. And firstly, he wanted to go to Taif to give his message in there, but it was very sad story because he was stoned by the people of Taif. He was not very welcome there, and the people didn't want to listen to him as well. And he was bleeding after being stoned. His head, all over his body, was bleeding, unfortunately. And he didn't lose his hope, even according to sources.
Last week we talked about revenge and taking revenge. Also in Taif, there is an event happened there, but he didn't take his revenge.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. He could forgive anything happened to him, any bad thing.
Yes.
But he also last week when we spoke about Hamza and his death, he lost his conscience because, according to Arabic society and the culture, revenge was raising up, especially anyone who you love very much, any harm
came to him
or her,
take revenge.
You try to take the revenge because it's a culture, habit.
We still have it, you know this?
I know.
We still have it in our country.
I know, unfortunately. And when Prophet Muhammad also was stoned in Taif, he could forgive those people very easily because it happened to himself. Not uncle or no other person, even Zayd himself. It happened.
Yes, it's
and then Gabriel said, "If you want, I can destroy the city," testing his,
the mountains. I can destroy the mountains.
Yeah.
Yes.
He said no because they don't know the reality of the message. Really, that is why we have to be patient. This time he turns back to.
He also prayed to them. He said, "Allah forgive them. They don't know."
Some people who are listening to us, what we say, can think this is illogical, because Gabriel warned him in Medina. But this time he was refusing the taking revenge of Gabriel in Taif. But also being prophets, being messenger is a test in life. Yes. And he was tasted. This incident, this event happened before Medina. In fact, he was being educated not to have revenge those days. And he didn't lose his hope, and he went back to Mecca.
But going to Mecca was an order from God, from Allah.
I was asking by myself, why Medina accepted Prophet Muhammad easily than other cities? Why Medina? Medina's name was Yasrib before. It was not Medina. And some group of people wanted to speak to Prophet Muhammad. He was very surprised hearing this. This was a very good message, very good news, a new hope.
Yes.
And he spoke to these people in Aqaba area, and then one of them said, I am sure that you are a messenger of the Lord, but I want to see the seal of the prophethood in between, on your chest, on your back, shoulder. Can I see it, please, he says. And I asked them a question by myself. Why and how does he know the seal of the prophethood, Medina people? They asked this question. How they learned this? Any prophet is a sign. He's a messenger of the Lord, also having a seal of the prophethood on shoulder. He has shown his shoulder. He said, I was sure that you were a messenger. Now I'm very sure, he said. And I arranged Medina, how they learned these things. Medina people were together with Jews. Many Jews migrated to the Medina thinking that a new prophet was going to come to that city.
But from them?
From them, of course. And half of the city, Beni Kainuka, Beni Nadir, those Jewish tribes, they were there and they were very rich and very powerful. And the Arabs in Medina were very weak comparing the Jews in the city. And the Evs and Harzaj, the tribe of the Medina, two tribes, Evs and Harzaj, they were always fighting each other. And the Jews were telling them each other, oh, the Evs is telling you this, this, and Harzaj is telling you this. They were fighting each other always.
They get benefit from the war because it was used to sell.
There was big conflicts between these tribes. And also, remember please, there were two tribes in Mecca, Umayyah and Hashimi tribes. They were the same position. And when Prophet Muhammad went to Medina, these tribes, Evs and Harzaj, united together. Yes. They stopped fighting, they became brothers very easily. But the question, why they accepted Prophet Muhammad easily? What were the reasons? Because Jews knew what sort of messenger was going to come. He was going to be an Arius. He was going to be a very courageous person. He was going to be an orphan. He was going to be Al-Amin, means very trustable person around. And he was going to be around 40 years of age.
And he's going to be from this peninsula.
The list is very long, and they knew exactly what sort of prophet was going to come from the knowledge of the Moses, coming from generations to generations, with the very rich and generous sources they had, and they were reflecting this to the Medina Arabs, because Medina Arabs were asking, what sort of prophet, messenger you were waiting? They were speaking each other, of course, because it's a closed society. And they were saying, our prophet is going to be areas, generous, this.
Mm-hmm.
And they were expecting this, but exactly this, the
same
person, the definition is okay. But he was not from son of Isaac, but he was son of Ishmael.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Jews were the son of Isaac, and the Arabs are the son of Ishmael, and they didn't accept because he was from Ishmael's side, not from Isaac's side. And also they were fighting sometimes, some Jews and Arabs in Medina. And when Jews were very angry, they were saying, "You dirty Arab, someday the prophet is going to come from our side. When he comes, you're going to be defeated from here. You're going to go. You're going to leave Yathrib," they said. Of course, this kind of threatening was inside of Arabs in Medina. That is why they knew the situation, the new prophet was going to come. When they saw Prophet Muhammad, they understood he was the exact person described by the Jews in Medina.
And the good news that he's Arab,
and
not Jewish.
Yeah, they accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 12 people promised Prophet
came
Muhammad.
To this Aqaba, Bayatul Aqaba.
One of them said, "We are going to fight for you and for your dawah, for your ideology and your religion." Message. Your front, we will be in front of you, the back of you, the side of you, both sides. And you're going to see us, fearless fighters, he said. He promised. The Medina kept his promise all the time. And the Prophet Muhammad came to Medina. It was a hijrah, as a big journey from Mecca to Medina, big migration, big walking. It's a big sigh, between Safa and Marwa. Muslims are walking and going. Mm-hmm. I request the Muslims to think Prophet Muhammad's walking from Mecca to Medina. Light from Safa is education part. Yeah. To the generous place, to Marwa side. Mm-hmm. Knowledge started in Mecca, in the Safa hill, but Prophet Muhammad went to Marwa side, very generous Sahabi. They opened their heart and houses for the poor Muslims who came from Mecca. So we must remember, Safa and Marwa is our hijrah. This is going
like a simple.
Yeah, and we must know also the hijrah is the starting calendar. Calendar, taqwim.
Yes.
And the history for us started with this journey, not with the first day of the message came in.
That's right, because it's a very important event in our history.
So journey is very important. Walking is important. Seeing the places is important. Being tourist is a great sawab in Islam normally.
Really?
Yeah, because we will see new places. But we Muslims now, what are we doing in Istanbul?
We close ourselves.
Yeah, we always collecting money for house and car only.
We call it a cocoon. You live in a cocoon.
We are in the same place and we try to be happy. In Istanbul, 20 floors houses, and we are very happy in 20-floor house. One of them belong to us, and giving money for paying that mortgage system, 20 years long, 30 years long. We are the slaves of the houses and the cars normally, and the bank interest rates.
So we can say that Islamic message is to be an open-minded person.
Exactly.
So accept the differences between
So
people.
Medina is a wonderful illumination for the Muslims with generosity and sincerity. They were sincere and generous.
More than Mecca's
Of
people.
course. Even today, the pilgrims are going to Saudi Arabia, and they say the difference between two cities.
That's true. Really.
They say Medina people are very generous.
Peaceful. You feel peace.
Yeah,
that's right. I was living in Medina, by the way.
And the Mecca people, they say a little bit tough. But Medina is really Madani, but Mecca people a little bit Badawi. They say. I hear this. But the Islam, it normally wants us to be Madani. When we look at the first verses coming from the Lord, telling us how to be a good, apt servant, person, gentleman, lady. But when we look at the second episode of Quran, Madani verses, Mecca verses, Madani verses. Mecca verses made us apt, but the Madani verses made us Madani for this in society. And the name of the city is strange. It was Yesrib. Has got not nice meaning. And Prophet Muhammad changed the name of the city as city.
City at Mediniyat,
exactly.
Modernization.
And that is why Sirat al-Mustaqim we explained. Sirat is not a bridge, it's a street of Madaniyah civilization, telling us not to do and what to do. It's harams and halals, free things and forbidden things. And La ilaha illallah, we said. You remember last time?
Yes.
And also, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahy anil munkar, the left side, not to do, and the amr bil ma'ruf. And when we look at Tawheed, Tawheed is a wonderful faith which is uniting and definition of wonderful faith, really. Because the Quran is defining things, the two different things.
He showed the road to you to follow. Exactly.
What is moral, what is non-moral. We know after reading Quran exactly. Night and days, these things. And woman and man. The God creation is wonderful and beautiful. And we must respect the differences in life. This is our rich side normally. The Quran tells us Arabs or non-Arabs are equal in being a human.
Yes.
And when you have taqwa, the responsibility, then you are above. Responsibility in heart. That is a very important point. And the Medina and the people, they converted Islam just because of the information they got from the Jews in Medina city. And Prophet Muhammad kept his promise also. He stayed with the Medina people.
Even after he
died.
Yes.
He was buried in Medina, not in Mecca. Yes. Why? Because those people didn't leave him alone. Prophet Muhammad didn't walk alone. He was together with the Medina people, and he left himself, devoted himself in the Medina city today. Because Zayd couldn't go back to Yemen. How could Prophet Muhammad leave the city? Because Zayd bin Haris, only Muslim, his name was written in Quran. He didn't leave the city, and he didn't leave Prophet Muhammad alone when his father came to take him back.
Yes. We are going to talk about him. Now, Zayd was his. He wanted to adopt him.
Yeah.
But then Quran said no adoption in Islam.
The Quran doesn't accept this.
But he accepted him as his son. He loves it so much.
At the beginning, everyone in Mecca and Medina calling Zayd bin Haris as son of Muhammad. But after the order of when Zayd divorced his wife, the God made them married with Prophet Muhammad. And this was very tough and very heavy decision for Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah, can you tell us more about this in details?
We understood that he is a human, he's an abd first.
Yes.
He has a heart, loving heart too. And you can't sometimes control your feelings when you are a human being. You can love someone when you have a warm feeling in your heart. And even he requested Zayd and Zainab to get married together. But they couldn't get along well. Why? Because Zayd was from Yemen with different culture. Zainab was a noble family. And Zayd was working class. Zainab was upper city lady class. How could they go along well? It was not easy. Prophet Muhammad, before his death, he tried to demolish class differences between the classes. Working class was like this long time ago, and the rich cultural aristocracy was there. And he tried to demolish it. He wanted to make it equal between the marriage of Zayd and Zainab. But it didn't work, unfortunately, because Zayd and Zainab wanted to get divorced. And the Prophet Muhammad told Zayd, keep your wife with you, not to divorce her. He was telling this even he had some feelings in his heart. But when Zayd divorced his wife, it was really hard to reveal this. He was very embarrassed about that. So please, let's think about this. If he was a lying prophet, of course he was going to know that everyone was going to use this against him. Not only in his period, also some centuries later. So we also know that he is a real messenger and abduhu first. He's a human. He's not a god. Yes. We know from this. I request our watchers to think after reading, especially the life of Prophet Muhammad, telling the social life those days. And the basic knowledge is very important about this. Unfortunately, this was only written by Martin Links, Abu Bakr Sirajuddin in his book. When we have basic knowledge, we can think better. We can create new things over it. When we don't have good knowledge, this doesn't work really. Some people in Turkey also talking about Prophet Muhammad's marriages. They believe Prophet Muhammad got married with Aisha when he was 5 years old. Got the fiancé at the beginning when she was 15. 5 years old, they believe, and they got married when she was 9. It is impossible because accepting this, making our prophet as a pedophile, it's impossible to accept this. But when we read very well, those days Arabs were killing their daughters and then they were started counting girls' age after 10, ashara. Yeah. If someone saying my daughter is 1 year old, that means she was 11 years old. 2 years old, that means 12. And yes. Aisha was 19 years old. And when we observe the history very well, we can see this very well. Unfortunately, some people in Afghanistan or in Pakistan or some area, they are getting married with the 9-year-old, 10 years old
in Yemen, yes,
girls, even in Yemen, just because of thinking that this is sunnah, getting married with the 9 years old girl. It's a wrong, really.
It's a very big wrong.
Big disaster.
Yes.
So the Prophet Muhammad, let's accept this. Aisha was 19 years old. But why she was so young when even 19 was very young? But that is very important.
Yes, it's very important. Maybe some people don't know exactly the right thing. That's why you are going to continue this topic.
Yeah.
Then we have a small break, a commercial break. Then we will come back to you and stay with us. We are going to have a new topic. program, and it's second episode, unknown history program. Before the break, we were talking about Sayyida Aisha, the Hazrat Aisha, and her marriage with Prophet Muhammad, and there's wrong information. A lot of people know that she was married in 9 years old, but Mr. Ayhan, you have a new perspective, a new things
19.
to do. It was 19. I want to ask you about something. Why this wrong information? People more know than right one.
Because the hadith commenting also are wrong sometimes. For example, there is one hadith. Mu'min's collecting is a shifa, cure for the other mu'min. Collecting means rest. For example, rest of me is food, for example. When I eat, they think the rest of the food is a shifa, cure for that. This doesn't mean this is wrong meaning.
I never heard about it.
Yeah, there is. I have seen some Pakistanis in Pakistan. They were licking the spoons and the plates. 100 people they have eaten, and they are not washing, they are licking. 5 people are licking the spoons because of this misunderstood hadith. Normally the correct understanding is like this: the rest of me means what I saved money is cure for any Muslim. Maybe he's going to use to help other
helpless
Muslims.
People.
Yeah, the rest of me means the money
or the power or
exactly.
Education.
Anything. So this is going to be the cure for other. That means helping each other.
Anything I can offer to
not
someone.
Licking the spoon, not licking the plate. We understand wrongly sometimes the Hadith Sharif. And anyone who sees that kind of videos, they say, you see, Muslims are very dirty people, licking the spoons and the plates. Oh my God, disgusting, they're saying. And this is a very bad advertisement for the civilized rest of the world. Is
this our fault not to read, not to know about it, or religious people fault?
Both, because the religious people, what we call as alim, they are not reading also. They need information. Right. They need observing. But when you talk those people, they know nothing about Prophet Muhammad's life. He says, I am Sayyid, I have blood of Prophet Muhammad, I am the descendant of Prophet Muhammad. But this doesn't work, because we know Abu Lahab was also the relative of Prophet Muhammad. Right. He was cursed. The blood doesn't rescue us. Race doesn't rescue us. And nation, having, I am happy because I am a Turk, or I am happy because I am an Arab. Saying like this doesn't work for the God, because we are all equal. We are all equal, and the more you have taqwa in your heart, exactly. More you responsibility, more you are precious. Exactly. To God. Also, one point. The first azan is calling for prayer. Bilal exactly. And the Bilal Habashi, he was from Africa. He is the first Muslim who recited Quran at the top of the Kaaba, climbing at the wall of Kaaba. He recited first time azan at the top of the standing and calling people to the azan. He's a black, he's a colored person. But we love him very much. We don't have in Islam this differences. We don't judge people by the ring or color or something. When anyone in Turkey, for example, African, when anyone says African, he thinks, Bilal Habashi. Yes, and he has a great love in heart. Just because of Bilal Habashi for the Africans. Actually, we forgot to say that our Muslims, our first migration was to Habasha. Sorry? First migration before going to Medina. Yeah, that's right. This was how can I say? And the president, the leader these days was Christian. Journey to a Christian country. Yes. Bilal Habashi's country. Yes. Habashistan today, Ethiopia, they say. Ethiopia. And there was a wonderful king, Christian king in there. And when Muslims went there, he opened the gates for the Muslims. We know good Christians there are everywhere, and kind-hearted Christians too.
That's right.
They are following the peace, really. Even Quran tells good things about them. Anyone who pray Allah and the following he or she's trying to follow the good way. God praises in Quran too for them, and we Muslims are, and also we know the Muslims are very closest to Christians about many ways. The Christians, especially first ones, they believe in love, and they're loving each other, loving neighbor, this kind of things. We also believe in love, but for Islam, the peace is very important. Sometimes love makes your eyes blind, and the Islam, the first thing is trust and justice. Justice and the trust can bring peace. But when you love very much anyone, you may get blind.
That's right.
And we must be very careful about that. And of course, love is a very good thing. And the hatred and the love can be too dangerous feeling to make you blind, really. Because some people are blind because of hatred. Some people are blind because of love.
Yes.
And the justice only can show us the reality about life. And I promised by myself long time ago, Ayhan, you must speak and you must write bravely what you found and what you think. Otherwise, you must break your pencil and stop writing. Because when we are not courageous and when we don't think well, when we keep quiet, we can't get further on.
Yes.
We can't speak serious things which are going to make us better progress, on the road of Quran. Even Maliki Yawmiddin in Fatiha, for example. What is Maliki Yawmiddin? This is reminding us we are going to be questioned by the
Yes.
Lord of the universe, so we must question ourselves before
we have big
die.
questions. Yeah.
But
before we stand beyond God, and He will ask us about everything we did.
And but we recite Fatiha in the graves of the people, and we go and in Turkey there it writes Ruhuna Fatiha, means Fatiha for their souls. But Fatiha is for the living people, not for the dead. He or she already died, and he doesn't need our recite. The Fatiha is for the living people.
Yes.
Even Yasin chapter tells this book is for the living ones. But we recite Yasin for the dead ones in the cemetery.
Yes.
This is contradiction. We must talk about these things, and we must open a new way, thinking very well. We must read, and sincerely we must go. Otherwise, we mustn't let some people make us blind.
That's right.
Quran, a book of life. A book of
rules of life.
Exactly. When you make a car, you give a booklet how you are going to use that car, right? Mm-hmm. And when you buy a camera, you have a booklet for the camera, so you know how does it work.
That's right.
So, what about the humans booklet? Life booklet. Our lives booklet is Quran.
That's right.
And it tells us how to live, how to walk on the street modestly, how to eat, and how to speak modestly. This is a wonderful thing when we think in the desert where there is no civilization, creating a wonderful civilization in the middle of nowhere. It's a real miracle. If anyone who is looking for a miracle, I request them to read Quran in the Inzal chapter, starting with Alaq ending with Nasr. Why we must read, starting with Alaq and ending with Nasr? Because this is the understanding chapter, understanding order. Because when we read in this order, we will understand according to life of Prophet Muhammad, all the incidents. So we are going to know his life also after having the message. But what is the difference now? Is starting with Fatiha and Baqarah and Ali Imran. Who changed this? Why changed? It is because revolutions, when you make a revolution in your life, unfortunately, revolutions goes back again. So when you make chronic revolution in your life and in your society, not to go back, you must lock it starting with Fatiha, because Fatiha tells you 7 principles of being an abd. Baqarah tells us not to be materialistic, pragmatist. Ali Imran tells us not to make Prophet Muhammad messenger as a god.
He's a person.
He's a person, like us.
Yes.
Only he was messenger.
But there is something, we have to think, we have to know our religion. But sometimes we need someone to show us, to make it clear more. Maybe if you read Quran, you can't exactly understand what the meaning of the verses.
Yeah.
So you need someone to tell you, to make it clear to you. But religious people, maybe they telling us wrong things.
This is also,
as we said about Hazrat Aisha,
yeah,
for example.
We have books in our hand today. Though a long time ago it was not easy to access any book. Books were very expensive, not easy to reach. Those days, I mean long time ago.
Yes.
So you needed someone who's going to tell you these things, who read.
But there is something wrong in these books.
I'm talking about a real alim who read Quran and who read Sahih Sunnah and Hadith Sharif, real ones. And those days, for example, 300 years ago, it was not easy to buy a book, a good book. It was not easy to access it. So people were going to Jami, mosque, they were learning from the Imam. He was telling every Friday about religious things, and we were learning, that's it. And some people believed that any Jamaat leader, Murshid Kamil, they looked for.
Yes.
And they said a Murshid must tell us everything. But today
we stop thinking and just
he is
gain
going
knowledge
to tell us
from
everything.
someone else.
But today's Murshids, I look at them, most of them are ignorant. They know nothing about Prophet Muhammad's life. When you ask a question, he never taught those things. He tells you only he has ijazah, permission from Quran or from having Prophet Muhammad's blood from the descendants, he says.
Yes.
But this doesn't work. In the modern world, everyone is asking questions to the Google. And when there is Google, even people don't need any book sometimes, because they are reading from encyclopedias, which was downloaded. You can see a lot of books also. We say into e-book, electronic book.
Yes.
People are learning everything from the telephones, from the e-book. Reading
but
from
we can
here.
say that people must think.
Exactly.
Not to accept everything you read, not to accept everything you hear. Maybe there is something
wrong. Maybe.
Yes.
The only Allah's ideas are not questionable in Quran. The rest can be questionable.
Yes.
Today there are some hadiths about the woman. Some hadith tells how more women, there will be more women than men in hell, the hellfire. It is unbelievable, really. And some hadith says the paradise is underneath feet of the mothers. This is really reflecting Prophet Muhammad, this kind of word. You understand, Prophet Muhammad, messenger, can say this. But saying that more women, less men in hell. Who believes this? We know the world fights and the wars started by men. The women are raped, and the children are being killed.
Yes.
And who are doing this? Men. Even when we look in some countries, the killers are men. They are going and taking the woman and killing or raping or killing, and they do this for the name of God also.
Yes.
What a disaster.
Yes, it is.
What is this? Why is this this is happening? Because it is the lack of Malikiya, questioning, questioning yourself. We must question ourselves. If we question ourselves, we can find the right path, right road. This is Sirat al-Mustaqim.
Yes. We have to put it in our mind.
We men must question ourselves, really. We are really trouble. And there are no women prophets. Why? Because
Why?
mothers are already like prophets. Mothers are already like messengers. They help, but they don't expect anything for helping because they are already mother. But with men, when we help, we expect something. We are pragmatists. That is why the prophethood, message is this responsibility coming to us. And the Prophet Muhammad was like a mother. That's why he was Al-Amin. Al-Amin means like mother.
Yes. Going back to Hazrat Aisha.
Yeah.
We said she was 19 years old when she
Exactly.
married Prophet Muhammad. Peace be upon him.
When she got married, she was 19, and when Prophet Muhammad died,
she has a big role in his life and Islam.
Yeah,
Islamic
she knew a lot of things about Prophet Muhammad because she was young and she learned a lot of things from him. And when Prophet Muhammad passed away, she
was telling Hadith.
She was the alim, and she was the person who everyone was asking questions. They were saying, "Oh, Aisha, please tell us, what was Prophet Muhammad taking decision in this position? What do you think about that?" She was telling her idea. And the greatest alim of Islam is a woman.
Yes.
She is Aisha. She is the greatest alim. She is the greatest knower.
It's a very good sample for Muslims, women in Islam.
All the knowledge and the inheritance about the mentality of Islam came from Prophet Muhammad to Aisha,
Hazrat Aisha,
our mother. If Prophet Muhammad didn't get married with her, really unbelievably fake hadith was going to cover all Quran, would finish Quran really, and the understanding of Quran would finish. But she took and she brought a wonderful, correct, one nice hadith.
Yes, that's true.
So we must thank to her.
Thankful, yes, we are thankful to her. Yes, it's amazing to have all this knowledge we didn't know before. Maybe some people don't have this information, you know.
Also, we must emphasize one thing.
What?
That is the Nisa chapter in the Quran. Today's order is importance order. The most important chapter is Fatiha. Second is Baqarah. Thirdly is Ali Imran. Fourthly is Nisa. Nisa means woman chapter. And the woman is the most important thing in the society because you give birth. You teach us first. If women are ignorant, we will be ignorant.
Right.
That is disaster. So Prophet Muhammad told, if you remember, any kafir or mushrik who teaches reading and writing, a Muslim, 10 Muslim, he's going to be free.
To be free, yes.
An unbelievable thing, really. We are looking at Prophet Muhammad's vision, and we are looking at ourselves a very big difference.
Yes,
this is not real Sunnah, what we do. We are talking about, bird or some other things, but we don't talk about real Sunnah. We are eating the food, sweeping with the bread very well, but we forgot sharing our food with the poor.
That's very important point. We have to talk more about it.
Exactly.
It's amazing. This program is okay. It's about unknown history events,
but this is also historical thing.
Historical things and Islamic ethics.
Yeah,
is amazing.
We are discussing about this as well. There are unknown things about, for instance, in Quran. Quran is when we read Quran, there are historical things inside of it.
Right.
A lot of events in the history. God talks about even the people of Yunus alayhi salam, and he warns his people, and he loses his hope, and he goes. And I was always asking a question, and the other nations who were warned by the prophets, messengers, they didn't follow and they were punished. Why was Yunus nation people not punished? It was because of Yunus, because he left the area earlier.
He gave up.
He didn't complete his work.
Yes.
That is why God forgave the people of
his
Yunus,
nation,
just because of justice. This was important.
Yes.
Maybe
it will be a new topic we're going to discuss next week.
Inshallah.
We are run out of time, unfortunately. This is the end of the episode. Next week we are going to have a new topic, a new interesting topic, inshallah. See you again. Have a good day.